Hi everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina Designs. Today I have a project for you with one of my recently re-released sets, Fun Year Round. So we originally came out with this, it was featured in my book, Fabulous Stamped Frames, in rubber, but now it's in clear, and it makes it really easy to line up these different 2- and 3-step round elements, which you can then put into the frame. So I have a little bit of embossing today, just made this very simple holiday card. The products and tools that you're going to need for this are the Fun Year Round stamp set from Gina Designs, and then a Cuttlebug plate or a large acrylic block for that frame stamp. I'm using some of the Gina Pure Luxury Heavy Baseweight White cardstock, and this is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 4.25 inches for a side fold card. The ink pads that we're going to be using today, I've got the Versamark ink pad because we're going to be doing some embossing on that frame. And then I've got some of the Gina Ocean Mist, the Grass Green, and the Red Velvet for my stamping. Going to be using just a little bit of silver embossing powder, and I've got a heat gun. And the only embellishments that we're going to be doing today, just some more of those Nuvo crystal drops that I love in the red berry. All right, so to begin, we're going to stamp our frame onto the white cardstock. So this one I did portrait style, but you can also do it in a landscape style, and you can turn it the other 2 directions for a total of 4 different layouts. And the circles give just a really fun whimsical look, but they also show you where to place the different elements. So in today's card, I'm just going to be using the Fun Year Round set, but I will be doing more videos to show you some really fun techniques that you can do with your other stamps and this frame. So I'm inking it up with the Versamark all over, and then I'm just going to tilt it in the light to see that it is in fact wet and inked up all over. And then I'm just going to place it over my card front there. Don't want to fold it until after I've done all of my stamping because I don't want it to pop up. And then pull it away. It's a little hard to see now. And then I'm going to use my embossing powder. And I just realized I forgot to turn my ceiling fan off, so hopefully this doesn't make too big of a mess. Just one little stray bit right there. You might want to wipe it down with a little anti-static pad before you put on your powder. And then I'm just going to pick up my scratch paper here so that I can funnel it back into the jar. Okay. Just a few stray pieces there from my fan. Okay. So now we're going to just heat this up. And if you want to do any more stamping and have more silver on here, do with the greeting in silver, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to turn this on and move it around. You don't want to get too close because that can scorch your cardstock. But you're just going to move it all around, and you're going to see it go from powder to a shiny silver. This design would also be beautiful on a colored cardstock in white or gold or silver embossing powder. But I just love my white cards any time of year, but really over the holidays, and especially for a snow card like this. Almost done. Okay. All right, so now I want to do some stamping here. So I've got my red, green, and blue pads. So we're just going to have some fun popping in those different snowflake and kind of burst dot elements. So I'm going to just put this over here as a little example. And then I've got my set of stamps here. And I forgot to mention you're going to need some small blocks for putting those small elements on. So let's go ahead and start by adding the greeting. So I'm going to use the Let It Snow, and I'm going to do that in red. red velvet. And I'm just going to tuck that right here in this corner. So there's different places you can put it, but I'm going to put it right there in the corner. Then I'm going to do some of the larger snowflakes, and I'll just continue to do that in the red. So I just want these elements to bounce around the card. You can stamp off also if you like. Then let's switch to one of the smaller snowflakes, and I'm going to use that aqua. And so when you have this, you can actually put this right into, nest that into, and that was a little bit harder to do when you had the rubber, but see how pretty that looks as a two-step. But then it also fits into these smaller circles. And you can turn it to have the point facing up or to the side. And you can also mask these off if you want it to go behind that circle. But I'm just going to place them around. And then here. Now let's switch to green. And if you want to keep this monochromatic or do all cool colors like blues and purples, that would be really pretty. But I just wanted to do red and green for Christmas, and then also just a little bit of aqua thrown in because I always like aqua. And I'm going to do a few of the smaller snowflakes in that green. But it's really fun just to start stamping and see what you end up with, and you get these really fun kaleidoscopic looks. And then let's do just a few, let's see, I think actually I want to switch now. I'm going to use this same small snowflake again, but I'm going to ink this up in the blue, and I'm going to shift it so that it's going in between here. Isn't that pretty? And I'll put this in here. Okay. And let's just do a few more. So I'm going to do a few more just by itself. And then I'm going to use this small red dot, or I made it red for this. So I'm going to put this just by itself, but also in the center of some of these flakes. And then we'll also accent with those Nuvo crystal drops. So this is just like a filler. And if you want to leave some of your circles open, you can do that. And then finally, I'm going to take just this small dot. And I think this is nice for with the snow, just like kind of a modern twist on little snowflakes and crystals and sparkle. And I'm going to stamp this. See, isn't that pretty? And I'll put this one on here. See how that looks. So it's done whenever you think it's done. And then there's a large one. So you can do the large blue if you want. Whenever you think it's done, stop. Okay? All right, now I'm going to add just a few of those crystal drops. And again, you just want this to add a little bit of texture and dimension and shine. And it's just going to bounce around the card. So you're just going to drop, and a little bit of it just squirted out. That's okay. I'll just go ahead and put a dot there. And you can also use this as a way if maybe you got a little fleck of embossing powder somewhere that you didn't mean to have it. You can just drop that on. I want to have it in a few different sizes, so I'm going to have some big and small dots. And again, I want these just to move around the card as well. And you can use these to accent the middle of those snowflakes. You don't want to touch it to the paper, you're letting it drop down. And then when I'm done putting them all on, I'm just going to pick the card up and then just tap the back of it a little bit to help them settle. And you might want to do a little bit of green or a little bit of blue. They do come in metallic as well. And that's it. So then you just fold the card up, and then you just need to let this dry for a little while. I'm just going to tap on the back here a little bit just to help those settle down. And there's so many different looks that you can get out of these different stamps. Flowers, some that are more geometric that look like sunbursts, and then greetings so that you can do 4th of July, birthday, thank you, etc. And then the little buttons are really fun. So I will be showing more videos with this Fun Year Round set. I hope you enjoy this video, and it gives you lots of ideas for maybe some different things that you can put into the circles of this frame, or when you just want a really pretty geometric background. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of our stamp sets from Gina K Designs, and visit us on Stamp TV. Thank you for watching today. God bless.